Hey folks, how's it going? Following up with the progression and planning, I need to start taking Sandbox a bit more seriously. Because this is a decent point, but this I barely touched. On top of that, most of the teams I've been using for these are pretty damn old. Some haven't been touched in over a year. Oh, and I guess I need to set books down here. That's another thing I actually haven't done. So let's begin by remaking teams and slotting in books. When it comes to the enemies, we've got the low HP ones, these ones with 5 little arrows. And for this one, the HP range around 17 to 20 millions. And this is true for the second area as well. 18.2, 20.2, 19.4, 20.4. So for the first team, I guess we can just use an OTK one. After the ones with 5 arrows, we've got the ones with 3, and these range around 60 million HP. Let's check some of the new zones. 68, 66, 69, nice, 0.7. So 60 to 70 millions. And for these ones, I don't know, we're getting close to Nightmare 95 range, so I guess they can be Luchador. Combination of assassins and luchadors. Either that or just leave them on full auto, even if this is likely going to be a lot slower. Next we have the Gauge boosters, like this Herald of Death. These run around 20 million HP, so I'm really not too worried about this. Following these are the defenders. The defenders have quite large HP pools, starting HP pools at 103 millions, and they don't stay like this. As the moment you beat the first one, you get the Defender Plus, and apparently the wiki doesn't have info on those. Oh, that's weird. Unless it's in here. Oh, yeah, there they are. First encounter, level 100. Second encounter, level 110, 1.6 times more HP. 1.5 times more HP, 1.5 times more HP. Okay, so going by what the wiki says in here, these are the HP thresholds. 100 million, 150, 250, 370. Oh, that's only for the first part. Apparently He Swords only has the +1, but it goes up to 2.8. The defenders are likely going to go on some full auto team, likely the same team I will need to use for the end of route bosses. And let's start from the very beginning, see if there's specific mechanics that we need. Glider, heavy fire damage to 4 allies, inflicts burn, so a veil would be very nice to have. 30 hits, so echoes. Multiple debuffs, landing glaciate or cold cage, and plain damage worth of 70% of current HP, so healing or full heal. Next one is the Faimian gun, 1k static water damage to all allies, attack, defense, DATA down, so another preemptive veil would help. This one's gravity, 30 hit, and activate fitted chain. And considering that this is a water boss, I guess I'll want to run Elemental Switch, just to be extra safe. Third boss, Goliath, 18 hits of static earth damage upon joining, so I will want something to dodge or something to prevent this. 3.5 million damage with skills, that's Valentine Grimnir. Wind, defense down, and activate a fitted chain. Now this doesn't look that bad. Lastly, we got the wind one, Harbinger Stormer. Wind damage to all allies, inflicts skill sealed and CA sealed for 1 to 3 turns, so I will definitely want another veil on joining here. Dispels and skill damage. These look like fairly easy teams to put together. Now let's check the new ones, because these actually hurt a bit. Athena Militis. Joint trigger, 300% fire damage to all allies, inflicts 4 debuffs, so I will definitely want another preemptive veil. Land water defense down or stackable water defense down this turn, glaciate or cold cage, and lastly activate a charge attack 4 or more times, which sounds like the easier ones. Really, it's mostly going to be the damage she deals that's going to be the issue, because we're going to need a lot of healing here. Moving on, Uculator, we've got Granny. Oh, Granny doesn't have a joint trigger. That's nice. 30 hits, 3.5 million damage with skills, 6 million charge attack damage. Everything is extremely easy to clear. At Zone Calende we've got Baal Militis, the one I actually have to farm a lot. And it's 1.9k static earth damage to all allies, inflict skill sealed. That's another demand for a preemptive veil. Next up, 3.5 million skill damage, and again, this is going to be Valentine Grimnir's work. And lastly, use a buff removing effect. This could be Dispel or Monkey's charge attack. Okay, Baal looks pretty easy as well. So we move on to the last one, Garuda. Joint trigger, self buff, so we don't care. Suparna, land a burn effect. Activate a charge attack 3 or more times. And lastly, use a skill 4 or more times. If you can't keep up with the triggers, she's going to get a lot of mirror images, so I'll want to try and run some AoEs. So, next up is going to be the books. This is actually an extremely nice feature, so we've got to make use of it. When it comes to guidebooks, we've got the universal one with 80% attack, HP, 20% defense, chain burst cap, skill cap, special CA cap, nice, 12% damage cap, and +1 defender gauge. It's standard and it's something you want to max out as soon as possible. If anything, for the +1 defender gauge, because this is going to help farming for the boss host materials. Next up we've got the ferocity, bringing debuff immunity at the battle start, which can help a lot for a few of the bosses. HP and defense could still be useful for the bosses if your stats are not that high, but the ATA are generally not that important. So ferocity is most likely going to be used just for the veil at battle start. Next is ingenuity, crest, stamina, CA damage. Kind of so and so. Stamina might be nice, but we already get like an 80% boost to attack from the universal one, so I think this one can be passed over. Moving on, we got Valor, mirror image at battle start, level 4 enmity, which could actually be enabled by the boss's entry triggers, and 20% echo. This looks like it's going to be fairly nice for autofocus teams. Next up we got Tenebrosity with 50% chance to not consume secret gear, which only applies to one class. Kind of weird. 20% triple attack rate, 20% skill damage, which again, not that useful since skill damage reaches cap very easily, and a 10% damage cap. Yeah, this could actually be okay. If you're running a charge attack focused setup that doesn't do that many autos, so it doesn't take that much advantage of the 20% echo, this one might be the one to substitute it. Moving on, Acuity, cat to damage skill cooldowns by 1 turn, but there shouldn't be fights that go on long enough for this to be that relevant. Like maybe you can cast a nuke 4 times instead of 3, but yeah, I don't think this one is going to make that big of an impact. Level 4 stamina, but again we already have a very high attack buff, so we shouldn't have trouble reaching the damage cap. And 20% chain burst damage, which is another thing that reaches the damage cap far too easily. I think we can pass on Acuity. Fortitude, shield, HP, defense, 400 HP, refresh. I think we have enough sustain, or we can run a character for sustain and run some of the better books to enable and boost damage. So Fortitude is likely going to be passed over again. Insight, auto revive, debuff resistance, debuff success, skip. Avarice, level 4 bounty and 20% boost to experience. This one might actually be not that bad, but I would like to keep it as the last option. Like if we are already using 2 books and I don't know what to use for the third one, this one might be it. Adept Guides book cleared zone Nvidia once, and this one already brings 200,000 damage of skill supplemental, 20% skill damage, 12% skill cap. If you have any character that has a multi-hit skill, this is an absolute must-have. Moving on, we've got the Demolition, clear zone calculator once, and this brings half a million of Chedget type damage supplemental, triple attack rate, level 2 stamina and 10% CA cap. This is perfect for both OTK and for long fights, and it's basically the second must slot. Moving on, we got the Overflow unlocked by clearing zone Clan once, and this one is basically our second one long, bringing a 50% boost to the initial gauge. Chain burst damage, gauge gain, I don't think we cared too much about these. This book is likely going to be the ones we're going to need for the OTKs on the 5 arrows enemies. Lastly, we've got the Blessing, cut to healing skill cooldown, debuff resistance and healing specs, and again I don't think we care about these too much. And with 2 choices locked in, I think we actually don't have that many options. Going to be Overflow, Adapt and Demolition for the 5 pips OTK. For the 3 stars, I think Adapt still has to be there, unless we go full in with auto damage. But even if we do, I think I still want some skill supplemental. 200k is actually a lot. So the one we're going to replace is going to be the Overflow, since we likely will not need the charge bar boost. And we're just going to replace it with the one that gives Echo. 20% Echo, skill supplemental, CA supplemental. For the 3 pips, if we're going for Luchador, we don't need the CA supplemental, we can actually slot in the damage cap. Supplemental is debatable, depends on the setup we're running. Yeah, it's likely going to be Echo, damage cap and skill supplemental or bounty. And then we come to the bosses. Sure, the preemptive veil can be very nice, but there are also summons and characters that can give you a preemptive veil from the grid or the sub slots. So if the element has that character, I would rather run that than the Ferocity book. And yeah, I would likely just keep the Echo one. Alright, so set 1. Set 2. Set 3. And set 4 is got to be bosses. Or I can just set 1 for the preemptive veil. So 5 bosses actually need preemptive veil. Holiday Serial brings preemptive veil for wind at battle start, but I don't have him. Yukata Zalamelina, but there are no dark bosses. Next is Lady Grey. Damn it. Light and dark bosses when? So I can actually abuse these. Ooh, Psycho Syringe with Divinity Emblem for all allies. But this kind of locks you into running Doctor. I guess that's not that bad when you want to run the bosses who can actually deal damage to you, but still really don't want to be forced to run a specific MC as well as kind of a bad CCW just for these bosses. Like this would work in water, but it would basically only work in water. I don't remember the other bosses dealing that much damage that you need to run Doctor in order to stay alive. Dragon Knights, it needs to be a main summon, damn it. And then we've got Summer Tiamat and Summer Sleepyhead. Thankfully I have both, so I don't need to worry about, well, Baal Militis, basically. I can run her in the sub slot and have the Veil at battle start against Baal Militis. But for Elysian Glider, Famian Gun, Athena Militis, and are being a Stormer, I still need the Veil book, so let's just call these bosses and call it a day. Okay, that's the 4 setups. Should be more than enough. Alright, now when it comes to the teams themselves, I first need to check on something. What worries me is the farming speed. This is 100% bar for everyone. It could be useful since you don't really need to swap MC. You don't really need to worry about MC, you can actually swap it out and level up your classes like this. Still, 4 chains feels a bit slow. Is it? I wonder if this has the same lockout from the United Fight. Yeah, it does. Strangely enough, this feels slower than the Guild War. A lot slower. The point where we barely get any lockout from a 4 chain. Is there any point in trying to optimize this, if it's this slow? Oh. Yeah. And whenever we get the network error, we have to come check the box. I mean, for 4 chain, it's actually not that bad. You get lockout, but it's not that disruptive. And this can still be used to level up your C classes. Another thing I want to do is to try and leave each element to its own enemy, just so I can spread the experience around between new characters or old characters that might get a new version. This way I will already have the EMP farmed up and I can just port the EMPs over. And yeah, the lockout doesn't feel that disruptive, so I think I can just leave it like this. We could go faster, but again I would be saving like less than half a second each run. In order to try and avoid the pop-ups, I've been told to run multiple windows. So here's what happens. Go refresh, wait for the items down in the bottom to be loaded up, load the second, and go back to your grind. I've seen someone on Twitter do this with 3 windows, but whenever I try, all I get is a lot more network errors. Connection speed is just not fast enough to keep up. So yeah, it's the usual bookmark rotation, just need a second window to load in order to get your box, in case you get it. Just so you don't get a network error on your main window. And since I barely get any lockout, I don't really have a reason to try and optimize my teams further than this. And just do 4 chains on everything and be safe for the 20 million damage. You know what, let me try something. This should give me faster load times and should show me some lockout. It actually doesn't change that much. So really having the game load faster and go faster with low settings, no audio, no nothing, actually doesn't affect things. It's still as slow. It's still just as slow. One, two, go. Oh, network error. Back once, box, and go. So yeah, second window isn't even needed. Okay, so with the exception of light, everything has to be remade. And yeah, if things are like this, you can swap out. I don't need the extra attack buff, but I do need the experience, so I wouldn't swap in this to Bandit Tycoon. Weapon can stay, grid looks fine. When it comes to characters, I don't even need Song in here anymore. She's great because she buffs crits, so these two can actually deal more damage. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it like this. Now, fire characters for OTK. I want her because she needs experience. She buffs CA damage. Luffy needs experience. Might actually be better. And fire is not looking good. Elysian needs to be leveled up. Guess I can slot in Elysian with the Xeno Harp. No, absolutely not. Guess I can run Lyria on top. And the rest looks fine. Okay, that's the case done. Next are going to be the 60 to 70 million setups. Like, this is going to be the next team I will need to farm stuff in here. I'm sure this would be a lot faster with Nehan, but you've got to work with what you've got. It's not optimal, but it doesn't look that bad. Second teams are likely going to be just Bubs setups. Bubs setups with a Luchador or a Krypton of skill damage. I'm going to leave them for later since I need to get back to grinding. For now, let's just set up. This has to be here. Like that, there are no real two ways about it. This has to be here. Got 4 harps in here and 4 spears. So in here I could use this thing. It's the same thing. Either the Equitronius Militis or... Oh, it's actually a bit high, I guess, for the stats itself. So I'm running the same number of harps and spears. Hey, if I don't need tag team, I can swap the MC class.
自分をリミックスして楽しみましょう。お静かに。あなたの隣には私がいる。臆さず歩む。そして両断する。すべてを糧に。踊れ響く。もろ散る散る。もろ忘れはしない。
Yeah, good night.
全部私たちの案。
Well, these are the 2 teams I will need the most to farm for Nier and Kame. Next one would be the Earth one. Need to upgrade this one. And once I upgrade this one can go. I will have to move to Zonyoku later in the future, so I will need this team.
移住希望ですか？ポンポコポン。水分補給。花よ歌え、たけれ。刃は陰り、神楽のごとく。覚悟は。海の魅力はまだまだこれから。よいしょ。覚悟。
Next up we got the bosses. How bad are these? I haven't touched these in so long, man. There's not even Babs in here, Jesus. Elysion Glider and Athena Militis. Let's start with this. If I remember correctly, Athena Militis does a crap ton of damage. I was actually running a Doctor here. I've been trying with Yatromantis, but Yatromantis lets people get a bit too close to dying before doing the reset. That looks okay. I don't have the hosts now, do I? 0 and 0, fantastic. Next we've got Granny Militis, but I think I can just Tango. Can go with Octo, with Red. Yeah, there's 3 Katana characters, so I'll definitely want an Ultima Blade down here. As well as the sword. I don't know what to slot in here. I guess I'll just put the Sephira Blade for more crit. Even if I don't think we'll reach 100. 69%. Nice.
Son of Barudomen.
We're not running this spell. Okay, this is not nice. I need more skill damage. Everything went downhill so damn fast. I was like, wait, are we even taking damage? Then we missed one omen. I think I might still run Octo, but I might want to run what's her name in here, Halloween Kokoro. Might want to try something like this, even if it's not going to go well with her. There goes the entire team. At this point, I think I might even swap the Kango out for, what's his name? Just go full screw it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go Viking. Nice. Doesn't look that bad. We went a bit deep with the changes, but this should work. Because when farming, I want to stock up on host materials and just leave it to full auto. A good thing we have Veil. Now, damage is a little bit low. I guess I want to take out some cap up and add more supplemental. Yes, yeah, covering fire is almost there. 3.1 million out of 3.5. With a little bit more supplemental, she should be there. So I can be safe and I have only a single character cancel their omen. I don't have to worry about having it to sync up with multiple skills. I think I can swap this one out for the Bell bow. And get Kukuro to deal a bit more damage. Any other changes? I don't know. I could lose this one. I don't think I mind too much about losing some HP, so I could actually lose this one. But again, it's a safety net. I forgot to swap this one out. This has to be the dagger. The runes. Yeah, this should be better. Picks up the next run. But I'm pretty happy how things turned out. I think I can swap her out. Swap out, bring Lobelia back in to give even more skill cap. But we should be fine for Granny Militis. Next is Baal Militis and Goliath Triune. Now what do we need? Dodge or mirror image. Nuke spam on both sides. Land 3 debuffs. Dispels. I guess I can try Ennio. She should be spamming dispels. I guess we're going like this then. Oh, doesn't actually do that much damage. Backline Iwia as a healer being more than enough looks really weird. But if it works, it works. I want to see Grimnir start hitting 20 million with his skill too. Because that's insane. So while that goes, the last team we need is the one for Garuda Militis. And for this one I have no idea what I want to do. Burn, 3 chain, 4 skills or AoE. Preemptive Veil, Dispel and Nuke Spam. I think I will likely still want to go with Cinema. But I need something for Burn. I think I'm just going to slot Athena in here and call it a day. 3 chain, 4 skill, Dispel. Oh, Summer Medusa has it. on top of extra nukes as well. I guess this is okay. What do I do when it comes to classes? I might want to bring more skill damage nukes. So monk could potentially be an option. I think I still need the defense down as well, because hers is stackable, she doesn't bring it. Okay, not just dispel and poison, so I need mist. I guess I'm just going to run Viking again. An ultima, so that one. And then we go crit. Well, it doesn't look all that great, but I guess you need to take what you can. Crit. 92% crit, more than enough. Can I actually test Garuda Militis? No, of course not. But still, this should be more than fine. Plenty of skill nukes, lots of multi-hits. The 3 chains is the thing that I'm not sure if they're going to do reliably. But let's face it, between Athena and Medusa there should be nothing to touch us. So, yeah. Farming teams set up, boss teams set up. I'm missing some burst teams for the 3 arrows enemies, but it's just going to be some Babs bursts. So I think that's going to be it for me for the moment. I just need to lock myself in here and keep farming Bao. So, see you guys soon. Ciao!